Hi, I'm Lenora.
Hi, and I'm Gates. And we're Marines.
Okay, let's try it again.
Maybe don't say drop the load. Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Lenora.
And I'm Gates.
And we're Motomi. We're over-the-road truck drivers, team driving together, and we just bought 2 trucks, so we're pretty excited about that. That'll be coming in soon. Send your encouraging words and prayers our way as we start this newer, more exciting journey. So with DHF, Matt asked us to help create a piece of his course and whatnot, and we were definitely excited to do so. And we created this mental adaptability day, and you're going to be hearing Gates's voice mostly during the presentation. But a quick synopsis about who we are. We started Motomi about 5 years ago, not about, but 5 years ago, and we've been in pursuit of mastery of personal development and health and wellness since then. So you can see all of our credibility and all that at the end of the presentation. If you're interested, follow us and all that on Instagram, all that jazz. But without further ado, we don't want to waste your time, so let's just jump right into it and for mental adaptability. Bye.
Hey drivers, welcome to Mental Adaptability Day for the Driver Health and Wellness Program. My name is Gates Samaniego. I call this lesson Tardigrades, Tony Robbins' Garden, and the Happiness Hypothesis. We'll be exploring 3 topics together: adaptability, motivation, and happiness, along with tools and techniques to build and maintain all 3. So let's dive into it. Topic 1, adaptability, tardigrades, and Darwin's Origin of the Species. One of the most famous quotes about Earth's nature of adaptability is attributed to Charles Darwin, but was actually a paraphrase by Leon C. Megginson in 1963 and has evolved over time into the version of the quote we know today. Megginson was a professor of management and marketing at Louisiana State University, Baton Rouge, was an author of textbooks, and he taught his management studies students saying, according to Darwin's Origin of the Species, it is not the most intellectual of the species that survives. It is not the strongest that survives, but the species that survives is the one that is best able to adapt and adjust to the changing environment in which it finds itself. Okay, so what do we mean by this? Not the strongest, not the most intelligent, but the most adaptable to its changing environment. Well, let's think about it. What type of environments do we find ourselves in as truck drivers? Lack of daily routine due to time, variety of loads, lack of quality sleep, lack of highly nutritious foods, lack of exercise, loneliness on the road, depression, road rage, paranoia, anxiety. When you look around and you see other drivers, their health, their weight, their emotional states, do you think that they are adapting to survive these environments? How about when you think of yourself? Do you think there is a way that we can not only survive, but begin to thrive in these environments? The world's most resilient animal is not the elephant with a strong body size, not a penguin who can tolerate the cold, not a cockroach famous for its vitality, nor an octopus that is known for its intelligence. The real champion is a micro-animal called the tardigrade, hence the title, or water bear. From the high elevation mountains to the endless depths of the ocean, from hot springs and the Arctic ice layers, even in New York City, water bears can be found. They are highly adaptable and can live virtually everywhere. They enter into an almost unbeatable state to cope with extreme environments. So we don't know exactly how they do this, but research has found no mammal that could survive what a tardigrade can tolerate. Under environmental stress, such as dehydration or extremes of temperatures, they shrink into what's called a ton, T-U-N, ton state, in which their metabolism all but stops. It's amazing. In this state, they can survive without water for decades, They can tolerate high doses of gamma and X-ray radiation and survive temperatures as low as negative 450 degrees Fahrenheit to over 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So just imagine when we're driving in our trucks in Arizona and it's 100 degrees. They can go 3 times that heat. They have also breezed through and survived a 10-day period in the vacuum of space. Man, I found that fascinating. All right, so let's continue. What am I getting at here? Meganson follows his paraphrase of Darwin by applying Darwin's theoretical concept, his concept of adaptability, to us as humans, as individuals. We can say that not mammals, but a person or a civilization most able to survive is the one that is able to adapt to their changing environment. Our environments that we find ourselves in can be our own physical bodies, our social relationships, political environments, our morals and values, and spiritual environments. Drawing from this, we can assume then that if we personally select positive behavior changes and continue to adapt certain features and habits, we can modify ourselves within our trucking environments intentionally and survive. We are human. We are uniquely evolved to adapt and survive many different climates and circumstances, and indeed, we have in various forms for millions of years. We can teach ourselves to mentally and physically adapt to live, like the tardigrade, in an unbeatable state of mind, to cope with change and survive, even thrive, in these extreme environments in which we find ourselves as truck drivers. Topic 2. Understanding motivation, Tony Robbins' garden, and the self-determination theory. Motivation is not strictly positive thinking. One of my favorite explanations of this is from Tony Robbins, who is one of the world's most well-known performance coaches. He's coached everyone from athletes and entertainers to nation leaders and U.S. presidents. He's taught millions of people to take charge of their pursuits of a healthy and fulfilling life. He's inspired my own life. Tony says this on positive thinking. I don't believe you should go to your garden and chant, "There's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds," and think that it's going to solve something. I'm a believer in finding the weed and ripping it out. Motivation encompasses positivity with the will for action. We know that positive thinking and optimism are very real factors that can help us get into a state of mind which we are motivated to accomplish a goal or work through a problem, but no problems can ever be solved or goals attained without persistent action, without the actual work of weeding the garden. For most of you doing this driver health and fitness program, you've already identified your weeds as problems with obtaining and sustaining personal health and nutrition. As truck drivers, this lifestyle can easily leave us in pain, insufficient sleep, full of unhealthy processed foods, lack of exercise, and our bodies are adapting, not for the better, to these dysfunctional environments. They are creating immobility and diseases. So how do we muster the motivation to do battle and rip out the weeds? Well, there's something called self-determination theory. It offers us a theoretical framework for battle and for understanding motivation. Self-determination theory explains multiple types of motivation, but for our purposes, we're just going to focus on one. Ideally, the type of motivation we should apply to our gardening is called autonomous motivation. Autonomous motivation incorporates personal freedom of choice and motivation that comes from within ourselves, as opposed to motivation that comes from without, from outside circumstances. So the 3 elements of autonomous motivation are autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy is when we can take action on goals through our own volition, by our own personal choices. For example, making the decision to get your CDL, lease your truck, or take this DHF course. was your personal choice. Mastery is having the competency to effectively overcome challenges long term in our lives and interact effectively in our environments. For example, mastering the CDL handbook allowed you to pass the exams. Mastering health will allow you to harness the energy and the vitality that it takes to accomplish other life goals. Okay, purpose. The third one. Purpose is intelligently combining the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment, and the ability to have a community of people around you who support you doing these things. Purpose is the foundation. It's the reason behind the goal. Why do you want to take this course? Why do you want to be healthy? Anchor the reason for these goals to something deeper than a weight loss or bench press number. Do you want to be able to keep up with your grandkids? Take a vacation to the beach? Pay off your home? What will becoming healthy gain you? What will you miss out on or regret if you do not accomplish a mastery of health? What will it cost you in the long run? When we combine the three elements, autonomy, mastery, and purpose, we can experience greater self-motivation and greater self-awareness. Okay, let's get back to our garden. Reverting back to our garden, we confront the challenges, weeds, of the trucking industry by deciding to drive into the garden and rip those weeds out. However, gardens need continuous tending to. This is where the building of true mastery comes into the picture. You've already demonstrated autonomy by deciding to make changes in your life and participate in the DHF program. Developing the next aspect of motivation, mastery, takes consistent action. This will build your confidence and your self-trust to actually fulfill your goals. Lastly, applying the anchoring of your purpose will help you accomplish your true vision for the outcome of your garden toil. Consider your goal for the DHF program. Maybe something like to obtain and sustain personal health. What is your purpose, your why for doing this? And how badly do you want it? Guys, there is a real science to achieving. There are laws and principles that have been highlighted by experts in achievement and great thinkers and doers throughout the ages. Guys and gals like Plato and Aristotle, Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, Isaac Newton, Harriet Tubman, St. Thomas Aquinas, just to name a few. In 15 minutes, I can't go into all these principles, but I highly encourage you to discover them yourself. Today, I read and follow people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Brene Brown, Tony Robbins, Jocko Willink, and David Goggins for inspiration. Almost every one of the great thinkers of our time speaks to one principle that I want to elaborate on, and it's self-awareness. Specifically, self-awareness as it pertains to understanding your personal purpose. So, self-awareness is knowing what drives you, what triggers you, what inspires you. It's intentionally learning who you are and who you want to be every day when you wake up. This knowledge of self is truly some of the hardest and most purposeful work I've ever done. It's a continuous pursuit, and we're always changing, and we must adapt and welcome in our new selves also. The foundations of this knowledge usually begins with identifying your personal story and what your own morals and values and beliefs are. Again, we can't go deeper into this today, but you can find guides to this type of self-discovery online, and I promise you that putting in the work will lay the road to adaptability, motivation, and our last topic, happiness. Topic number 3, happiness. Let's talk about the happiness hypothesis. Okay, we've come this far. We know we are adaptable, and we can follow a proven path for sustaining motivation. But why do we want motivation? What is the point for building a foundation for living a motivated life in the first place? Motivation is itself a tool for us on our path in the pursuit of the real purpose, a fulfilling life with health and happiness, with the people we love. It's doing life on your terms. Okay, what's happiness? Happiness is this weird word that we're always trying to define. It's almost overplayed. Oh, I just want to be happy. What does that mean? Jonathan Haidt, a really great social psychologist, points out in his book, The Happiness Hypothesis, that it's not a simple emotional state of mind of being pleased or perky all the time, right? You're not just always joyful and upbeat. Instead, happiness is an adaptable state of being, like the tardigrade. We humans achieve happiness through a coherent balance within 4 places. Within ourselves, right? Self-awareness. With other people, relationships. Now, relationships would be a whole nother topic. That's another discussion. But within our environments is the third one, right? We're trucking right now, so that's our largest amount of time is spent in the trucking environment and during challenges in our lives. We're going to backslide. We're going to slip up and eat a piece of pizza. We're going to not exercise one day because we worked a 14-hour, 17-hour shift, right? But mastery is persistence. And happiness comes through the balance of those 4 things. Balancing ourselves, the people with whom we have relationships, our environment, and the challenges that come with living with those 3 things in our lives. Just remember that this is all a lifestyle. It's an autonomous individual choice to seek the knowledge and understanding and apply the knowledge every day to our lives in a masterful way. To adapt in the most positive ways possible to our environments and purposely live in a state of happiness that inspires motivation and fulfillment in our lives and in the lives of those around us. Let's talk about real-world tools and techniques that we can use right now to act on what we've learned thus far and building a living foundation for motivation in your life. So, topic 4, tools and techniques. This is experimenting to know yourself. I really wish that I could go further into each of these tools, but I promised Matt that I would keep this talk to about 15 minutes, and we're at 16 minutes already. So very quickly, let's talk about real-life ways to mentally and physically adapt when you're not feeling motivated. We're going to talk about the wellness wheel, feedback analysis, SMART goals, and community support. And let me just go off script here for a minute. And by the way, I'm not suggesting these 4 tools for any other reason except that they have worked for me. 5 years ago, my personal development journey, I would say, extra kicked in. I think we're all always growing and changing, but I really committed 5 years ago to developing myself and getting myself out of the place that I was in. I was depressed, angry, anxious, and those emotions would derail me for months at a time. The practice of these tools in my life continues to bring value. And now, when I experience these emotions, which, by the way, are a healthy and good thing, it's a very real piece of what makes us divinely human. You're going to get upset. Things are going to be upsetting. That's the nature of life. But now I can adapt and learn from those things, and I choose to bring myself back into the true state that I want to live in. A beautiful state of gratitude and peace. And my negative emotions do not monopolize months of my life anymore. Sometimes I can change my state immediately. Or sometimes, I'm mad for a day or so, but it's manageable. Okay, so tool number 1, the wellness wheel. The wellness wheel is a great visual tool to help you get a bird's eye view on all aspects of your life and how balanced you're living. If you would like to try this out, draw a large circle, not if you're driving, do it later, on a sheet of paper or a journal. Then evenly divide the circle into 5 pie pieces, 5 areas of life, right? Health and wellness, that's 1. Relationships, financial health, growth of knowledge or intellect, and spirituality. And you could add a 5th, or some books and textbooks even go up to 7 or 8. But a 6th one could be professional occupation in your circle if you choose. Now, honestly and fairly, you rate yourself in each section on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the lowest score, you have 0 savings, your financial health is poor, you're in debt. Okay, that would probably be a 1. 10, your financial health is great. Trucking has made you more money than you ever really have, and you've got a lot in your savings. You paid off your house or whatever, but maybe your physical health is a 5 or a 3. You rate that for yourself, and then you fill it in. Once you've completed it, you fill in the color in each section of your wheel, from 0 at the center to 10 to like the outer pie crust, if you will. So take a look at your wheel once you've completed filling in all the colors and assigning a number to each piece of pie. And when you color it, ask yourself, if I use this wheel to replace any of the tires on my truck, would it be a smooth ride? The closer your answer is to yes, the more balanced your life is, and the more likely you are living in a state of wellness. We also want to point out, that life is hardly ever balanced, since all of us have many goals and multiple areas of life that demand our attention, and which takes away from other places. For example, last summer, both my business partner and I, Lenora, as team truck drivers, were focusing most of our actual time on physical fitness. Last fall, we decided to go back to college to further master our knowledge of health and wellness. This decision has greatly improved upon our already extensive knowledge piece of the pie, our intellect, but it also demanded much more of our time. So our fitness area of life sort of suffered. And as we spent more time on schoolwork and projects like this program and less time on exercise, it took a few months to adapt to new goals and rebalance our lives with college in the mix. So I share that to really hit on the fact that sometimes imbalances in life happen, and that's okay, as long as you are seeking to rebalance and nourish all areas of life over the long term. So that's the wellness wheel. You give it a try. Let's talk about feedback analysis. Peter Drucker, one of the great influencers of business management theory in his Harvard Business Review book, Managing Oneself, suggests whenever you make a key decision or a key action, write it down and what you expect will happen. The scientific method is about comparing results to expectations. And we can use this method and apply it to our goals. If I do X, I think Y will occur. If I finish this program and apply what I've learned, I think I will have less pain and feel more motivated daily. So we write this down and the date. Feedback is the difference between your intended outcome and the one that occurred. So a great marker for analysis for a long-term goal is about 18 months. So we spend 18 months applying what we've learned, and in 18 months we analyze our results. Did we get the result we thought we would? Why or why not? Feedback analysis is used for better performance. It leads to more informed decisions. Guys, life is an experiment. What works for me may not work for you. If your best friend found out that this new fruitarian diet was the bee's knees, and you tried it and found out you're allergic to fructose, well, heck, that's not the best diet for you. Be adaptable. The only failed experiment is the one you let go on too long, knowing that you need a change and you don't. For most of you, and me, we've spent a very long time not exercising. Feedback analysis: I'm fat, I'm in pain, mentally tired, angry, depressed, etc. Results: this isn't working. I'm not surviving. I need to make a decision to take action in a different way. Then try something. Experiment. Running, basketball, softball league, weightlifting. As truck drivers, we get a little limited, but that's what these programs are for. You can walk. There's personal bodyweight calisthenics. There are things that you can do. You're going to have to try and find what exercise, via self-awareness, works for you. Next one, SMART goals. SMART goals help promote achievement and success by defining parameters, or a route, if you will, to getting from where you are to where you want to go. A SMART goal defines what is expected and how and when you'll measure the goal that's achieved. A SMART goal is S, specific. The goal should clearly state what you want to accomplish. M, measurable. The goal should be verifiable or measurable. How will you measure, evaluate, and even celebrate your progress? Attainable. A, the goal should be attainable and action-oriented. Okay. R, realistic. The goal should be reasonable for you. Certainly, the goals should stretch or challenge your abilities, but they must be realistic in light of your circumstances and your physical condition. Time framed. T. The goal should have a time frame, a set date by which you will achieve it, or at least review feedback and look at it and know how you'll celebrate. It's important to recognize your progress along the way and then reevaluate and set new goals. So SMART goals can be either short or long term. There's even intermediate goals, but set a realistic short-term goal first. Short-term goals are typically fitness objectives to be achieved within 2 to 6 months. Establishing realistic short-term goals is important for 2 reasons. First, if your goals are too hard to achieve, you may get frustrated and give up. I think we've all been there. In addition, injuries and illness associated with unrealistic goals are frustrating and can derail your progress. So second, reaching short-term goals will help you motivate to achieve future goals. So once we start achieving shorter and stacking up these small wins, these short, small-term goals, they boost up our motivation to continue on to our long-term goals. And long-term goals are important to set, which typically have a time frame of 1 to 2 years and beyond, so that you can dream a larger vision for your life that is, linked with your purpose, which we talked about earlier. So not a SMART term goal: I will lose weight. SMART goal: by the end of April, I will lose 5 pounds by walking 1 mile a day, 5 days a week. Okay, not a SMART term goal, or SMART goal: I will go to the gym. SMART goal: during the next 30 days, I will do this program. I will increase my strength by weight training at the gym 3 days per week, 1 hour a day. Okay? Finally, let's talk about community and support. There's a ton of research, guys, that shows that working out with friends and establishing a support system of people who have similar goals and ambitions as you will increase the likelihood of your success. So keep in mind, okay, that our 4-legged friends count. Further research has shown that having a dog who needs you to take them for walks will increase the likelihood of accomplishing these fitness goals. I've seen a lot of fat doggies on the road. Well, we can all get out and start walking our dogs. That'd be good. Establishing these responsibilities or commitments to others can be lifelines for us if we're feeling like we are backsliding and need some encouragement, or when we've succeeded and need someone to celebrate our win with. The driver health and fitness community, especially the Facebook group that they've established, has over 800 members and continues to build new and better ways for us to support one another And that's a huge resource that we can all start to utilize to support one another.
Thank you all for listening. We know you'll go out and inspire others with your accomplishments. We hope you got a lot out of this. We are passionate about sharing personal development and health and wellness, just behavior change. We started MotoMe back in 2016 in hopes to help fellow veterans out of their darkness, right, out of their inner demons, by discovering different strategies and experimenting ourselves ways to move and grow in personal development. Now, we started in the Marine Corps, and that's where we met. Started MotoMe in 2016. We're certified with ISSA, International Sports and Science Association, in personal training and behavior transformation specialist, which is mostly behavior changing. We're also certified with functional patterns as human biomechanics specialists, which is kind of what it sounds like, learning how to move your body correctly. And in 2022, we will have our bachelor's in health and wellness from the University of Arizona. You can follow us on Instagram. Just bring your phone up to the screen right there, and you can get that QR code off, or just look at motomelife on any social media platform. Reach out to us. Let us know what your thoughts are on either this program or any other part of this program, or any of your other thoughts. Here's some references. We thought you guys might like to see some of the things that we were talking about in this video. Thank you.